So, what's your personal GPS? This is what defines how you will move forward. It's what will define everything that you do online in the future. And your personal GPS, which is what I refer to as your gifted path to success, involves three very specific elements. One is what I call your what. So the question is, and this is the most important question you must answer, is what is your what? What is the one thing that you are absolutely compelled to do? It's already within your inherent blueprint. It's already within your DNA. We'll talk about that at some point if I have the opportunity. The second element of the GPS is the vehicle. And the third are the people. So you guys are getting a little bonus for coming back early, because I don't think I'm going to have a chance to do this. This is what I've used to help thousands of people become very clear on what it is that they're compelled to do. On your piece of paper, I want you to have these three boxes. Your gift, which is your what, your vehicle, and the people. Over the course of when I have time, I will fill in the blanks of what all of this means. But what I can tell you is that if you're able to complete this equation, you will be in very, very rare company. Now, Dean is one of those rare individuals who has been able to answer this question. And Dean is the founder of Forward Progress, which is a Chicago-based organization, and is one, as I said, one of the most connected people that I know. I mean, for over 30 years, he's been in business, he's an entrepreneur, and he's shared his knowledge just graciously with anyone and everyone who he comes in contact with. And we talked earlier about integrity. Dean has the utmost integrity. If you say something, you need to do it. And if you don't, you clean it up and you start again from square one. Dean has the rare gift of not only saying and doing the same things, but far exceeding one's expectations. When you can over-deliver in the way that Dean does, you will build a formidable organization. Dean has done so. And I got to tell you, as I said, if you need to know someone, almost anyone in this country who is anyone, the 6 degrees of Dean DeLisle will get you to those people that you need to connect with. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome to the stage an incredible man, and I'm just really honored and humbled to have him here, Mr. Dean DeLisle. Get on your feet. Stand back up.
Hey, is this my clicker?
Yeah. Now what the hell are you waiting for? After me, there should be no more. So for one last time, make some noise. Get him, Jay. Who you know fresher than whole? Riddle me that. The rest of y'all.
That's awesome. I told him to surprise me with a song, so that's what I get. So, well, listen, I want to thank everybody for coming out. And how many people here have been collecting a reasonable amount of business cards? Whoop. Right? So how would it be if we were able to turn those business cards into real business, right? That's what our intention is behind gathering all those business cards. Well, that's what we're going to do today. So we're going to get into a little bit of that. First, let me see, who are my master networkers out there? Who claims to, you have maybe more than 500 connections on LinkedIn, and you're really a good connection. Can I see a raise of hands? You consider yourself a decent hub. Actually, could you folks stand up, please? Right, so look around the room. These are the hubs, right? The master networkers. Now we're going to actually test them. So, if you know the name and what they do of the people that are standing, I want you to stand up. So if you see somebody standing and you know what the people that are sitting down, if you know what they do and you know their name, stand up. All right, now with the people that are standing up, look at the people that are now standing up. Now the people that are sitting down, do you know any of the people that are standing up? I would like you to stand up. Right? Okay, let's do that one more time. Do you know anybody that's standing up? Please stand up. Look around. So this is how this room is wired as we sit here right now. So please give them a round of applause. They've been doing a great job at networking. Not sure, but I'm not getting an advance on the slides. Oh, there we go. All right, so founder of Forward Progress. So what we do is we do a lot of coaching and training with organizations because what we found over the years, and I have a long background with data, computers. I started off at Merrill Lynch back in the 80s. Anybody else remember the 80s? So started off 1981, and it was a crazy time. Merrill Lynch was taking their data center, and they were opening up exchanges all over the world. And I was blessed to be part of a project where they built the first data center in the Board of Trade, and they took it out of New York. And they were moving this data at an amazing speed. And you have to picture, I'm 20 years old. I'm in the Board of Trade, and I have access to millions and millions and millions of dollars of equipment, and they're training me how to work with all this data online. Now, at the time, I had the privilege of logging in and looking to, I log in and I'm on the midnight shift. Now, if anybody's worked the midnight shift, you have to have an appreciation for working at midnight in the city of Chicago in the Board of Trade, right? Because it's sort of a lonely job sometimes. Well, the cool thing was we were able to get all of our work done in a couple of hours. So that meant I had 6 hours to play on computers. And then what I discovered is the more that I played and the more that I did some of this, the cool thing is I was able to find people connected to the computers. So all of a sudden there's somebody in Texas. They're opening up Kansas City. There's somebody at the London Exchange. And we started sort of a cool little social network of people. And we started communicating. And now, okay, so we didn't have mice, we didn't have color on the screen. It was this anybody remember DOS besides me? See the age of the room here. I know the young kids won't. But this was like before DOS, right? So now when you actually think about it, we're on this screen, it's a little monitor, and we're actually communicating back and forth. Well, so we decide we're bored, we're going to take it one step further. So not only did we actually communicate with one another, we started meeting other people. So the day shift would come on and the midnight people would meet the day shift. And we started this little sort of online community. So it was like the internet before Al Gore invented it. So it was a true cool thing though. And so we took it to another level and we're like, well, hey, we have an office football pool. Maybe we should invite all the people on our little network to the office football pool. So technically that might have been gambling, but they never said anything about it. But we had this cool community that we built. Then we took it another step further. We had sort of this, sort of mystery of who the other person was on the other end. So you have to picture in today's technology. And then what we did is we would take pictures of ourselves, write our bio of who we were in a letter, and mail it. I know, you're just dropping your jaw. And it was sort of a cool thing. And then we started dating people. So now we had this sort of weird online dating thing, but you couldn't see any right? So then you're hoping people are sending the right authentic pictures and everything. Now you never know if the picture's right. But anyway, so it was just a cool thing. Well, it's come a long way since then. And one of the things I want to share with you today is the power of what is possible within your businesses. Now, you've heard a lot about authenticity, the power of your network, the GPS. We really want you to take that to the next level for yourselves. So while we do a lot of coaching and training, we're going to coach and train you today to really learn things at a very fast pace. So I want to make sure everybody has something to take notes, whether it's your iPad, right, paper, whatever. And then we'll also offer everybody an extension of this because we're really passionate about everybody generating success. And we're also passionate about you hearing us, so this thing keeps falling off. So what we want you to do is, if you like what you hear, we want to have you just attend one of our free online sessions. How many people have attended one of our free online sessions? Raise your hand. So hopefully you've received some value from that, and we want to, hopefully if someday you hire us, right, to coach and train your company or to possibly execute some marketing services for you. But if not, no matter what your situation is, if we help you, we genuinely want you to just refer us out. So we want to teach you that same technique within your own organization and how that works. So let's go through this. So now we practice something from my friends from the Right Leadership Institute, who I'm proud of, called accelerated learning. We're going to move really fast, and we're going to want to make sure that you have somebody around you that you can actually share something with, and then we're going to have you do what we call the paired share, where you actually discuss the item. We're only going to give you 60 seconds each time because we understand that you can only learn so much in this seminar, right? So what we want you to do is do that. Now, when I raise my hand, though, I would like you to just stop, right? So raise your hand, close your mouth, and stop. So let's test this. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to turn to the person next to you, and I'd like you to ask them what they like to do when they're not working. And I'm going to give you 60 seconds to discuss this, and when I raise my hand, I want you to stop. Ready? Go. $30 seconds. Okay, ready? Bring it back. It's like stopping a freight train, isn't it? Yeah. You guys are awesome, though. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you. Now, here's what I noticed, because I like to watch when people do this, and I like, especially if people don't know one another, it gets into that conversation, and I really want to applaud you guys for making eye contact, and I saw a lot of smiles, and I saw you being genuine, and we're going to talk a lot about authenticity and how that translates to social networks, because what we find inherently is that people act one way in the room. So when we're networking and we're in the room, and then for some reason when they get online, they act differently. Well, we want that authenticity to come through online. Now, not the keg stand beer drinking authenticity. We want the genuine authenticity of who you are and what you're about, because that's how you're going to generate this new business for yourself. We're going to cover some quick techniques. We're going to cover network science, which is a science that we put in all of our LinkedIn sales training so that you can tactically find the optimal customers in the least amount of time. So you can tactically, like from the military style, find the customers that you can in the least amount of time. Then we're going to get into successful conversations, right, and translate those to where they operate online. And then we're going to take you into LinkedIn a little bit and then converting, because we want you to convert while you're here and practice that. And then we also want you to take that out with you. So make sure you take plenty of notes. And again, we'll support this with some free online classes. So network science, if you think about it, everybody in the room is a node. So congratulations, you're a node. So network science was developed by the U.S. Army. U.S. Army developed it so they could tactically hunt down their enemy. So if you think about in business, we want to tactically hunt down the next customer, the next ideal customer with the least amount of steps. We also want to tactically take out the competition. Now, not military style, but we want to take them out in the sense that we want to do better than them. And we want people to know that we're doing better than them. So network science is applied because we've found that in any situation, and this works with anything that's network related, that a link is the connection of two nodes. So imagine that, LinkedIn, right? Two nodes. Imagine the science behind that. You have a cluster, which is several nodes. So I notice when all of you go get cookies, you're in a cluster out there in the hallway, right? So you're in a little bit of a cluster. And it's funny because some of you are okay because your node's out here, and I was talking to my niece and a few others, and I said, go talk to those people, and she goes, they won't break the cluster. I go, well, you can break the cluster, right, Emma? You could walk into there and have that conversation. So think about that online and how that works. And then hubs. The people that stood up potentially are the hubs, right? People that collect people. They know the relationships. They know how to build value in the community. We want you all to be hubs, okay? So we're going to try to get to that level. Now, network science has been around for a long time. And in fact, people that are everything from funding. This is a funding chart from some of the .coms. And what we do is we start not just wiring businesses and communities and online communities, but we start looking the way people are wired, and even at the money level and the .com and the fundraising level, it's amazing how it's all connected. Well, what if we could take ourselves and connect ourselves? Think of your top 5 clients or customers. Well, what if you could wire yourselves to just those 5, focus on those, and have each of those 5 give you 5 more just like that? That's possible, right? We're going to go through some of that today. So I really want you to get and understand how this works. And I'm not going to get too deep with this. So we talk about mining your network gold, okay? What does the best person in your network look like, right? What does the worst person in your network look like? Think about that. You're only, one of the speakers talked about your weakest link, right? Think about that. So when we look at network science, and a lot of times when we have a ton of time, and I'm going to give you assignments, certain things I'm going to give you the foundation here, then I'm going to take you out, let you go out into the world and actually do some of these assignments on your own. Sorry, I'm a coach, you get assignments. That's the way this works. So in network science, what we just want you to look is those 5 people. The closest 5 people to you, they might be your fave 5 on the phone. They might be the closest people, the people you talk to the most. Well, what's interesting is we look at those 5 people and how much in terms of your business did they help you generate in revenue? What percentage? I would challenge you to look at that. Write down those 5 people that you're talking to all the time, that you're working with all the time, that you spend 70% of your time talking to, and how much did that participate in the generation of new business? And so what we do is we actually have people start to rewire their network a little bit, okay? So what we want you to do as a homework assignment, write this down. We want you to create, and you just take a nice big sheet of paper, right? Oh, I lost my whiteboard. That's okay. So you take a nice big white sheet of paper, and really all you're doing is you're building circles of your hubs, right? You're connecting hubs. So many of you do referral-based business out of your family, right? You do it out of friends. You do it out of maybe charities that you belong to. So think about that. Think of your different hubs, right, and the people that you're connected to. And you're in the middle. This is your social network that you're mapping out. And you just draw little branches, and you draw circles of those hubs. And you start identifying the people and the relationships in those hubs. We want you to get into better rapport and relationships with the right areas of your network. So take that assignment, and you're going to do that, tonight, this weekend. We really want you to map out your social network in doing that. This is before you get online. Now, there's some new rules with the online customer. Well, with customers in general. I just spoke at Windy City Conference downtown this morning, and it's banks. And it's really interesting to see the banks transition into online social networks. If you deal with Chase, you see the mobile apps, you see the commercials, everybody's going mobile. Well, this is because of customer demand. Well, it's not just banks. All of our customers and clients demand a few things from us. Let me show you the traits of this. Immediacy. It's why texting is so popular. Right? It's why chat is so popular. It's why microblogs came out like Twitter, because blogs weren't immediate enough in terms of delivering the news from organizations. So people wanted to tweet it out and get it out there faster. There's a demand for immediacy. People want that. This is an awesome venue. You just ask for stuff. It's like, this is broke. They run up and fix it. Awesome. Actually, let's give them a round of applause. Are they doing an awesome job on this, right? We talk about frequency. So if you're posting online and you're doing things online, are you doing it in a regular frequency? Can I rely on you or your organization? Are you doing it Monday, Wednesday, Friday? Are you doing it 3 times a week? You know, if I tune into your news station, do I get the 10 o'clock news or the 9:30 news or the next Tuesday news? Right? So people are looking to depend on you for those things. So it's frequency. Longevity. They want trust. They want to know that you're going to be around, that you're committed to your business. So Steve had talked about integrity. Well, integrity is promising that when you put a blog site up that you're going to blog. Oh, shoot, she's got a blog. So now when you build a community online and you say that you're going to put tips and techniques and tricks out there and things that they can use, you need to do that. You need to follow through. Trust is built and broken in a click, right? And you have all that power. We also have a give to get. So I mentioned to you about the free classes that we give. And people, sometimes think we're crazy, especially my CFO sitting in the corner. He's like, we give away too much. And I said, no. I said, you know what? Because it will come back to us. That we're building value in our community, right? In hopes that you will get to that point where you need a marketing campaign, you need a product launch, a service launch. You may just want us to come in and coach you how to do it. That's our hope in doing this, right? So we put a lot of effort into it. That's our promise. Somebody was sitting in the back. They go, I get your emails. I go, well, have you attended the classes? They're free. She goes, no, but I really should. But right? So they're free, they're there, they're recorded, right? So you should, right? And then, so you'll learn something. We always want to teach you something on it. So give to get. What can you give your community so that you can get something back in return? And this is what your clients are demanding, so pay attention to this list. Genuine interest and in-depth knowledge. That means there has to be an exchange, and we'll talk about that exchange. Enjoyment and fun. Yes, even when I was talking about compliance and banking this morning, we had to make it fun. It's not a very fun topic sometimes. But if you think about your business, is it fun and engaging, right? So share that with people. Instant information access. Instant information. I want it when I want it when I ask for it. Do you have Q&As? Do you have data that people can get to? Do you respond to people? You have websites. Is it filled with the questions that are asked by your clients and customers? Do you put those things on your Facebook page? Do you let them know that you serve that on your LinkedIn profile? Last but not least was the headline of this, authenticity. This is the big one, and we're going to practice some things here for authenticity. Now, shout out some things that you think authenticity is. Honesty? Yes? Trust? Being real. I love it. Transparency. Yes. Yes. So when we think of this, it's everything. It's building credibility. It's genuineness, right? It's real, honest, worthy. We want to show you where this can exist for you online. Okay? And we're going to show you where everybody fails at this because I want you to be successful at this and I want you to remember the things that we're covering today. So there's also the engagement part, right? The interconnectivity of what we're going to do. So now when you think about this is from my friends at Wright. My coach, Dr. Bob Wright, shared this with me. This is what they call an engagement continuum. Now I know there's nobody in this room that does this, but when you're just in Facebook and you're just liking things because it feels like the right thing to do. I like that. I like that while I'm doing this, while I'm watching TV. I like that too, So it's sort of like when I'm at the computer and my wife comes up, and Holly, and she'll say, hey, it's time for dinner. And I'm like, just one more email. And then she'll start talking about something that happened during the day. And I'm like, let me just finish this email. And then I'm typing and this and that, and I'm distracted. And she's just like, did you hear what I just said? I know that's just me. But the idea here is that that's sort of disengaged, right? That's an example of a disengaged conversation. Both parties are not engaged. Then there's misengagement, where you have sort of this kind of sort of engagement, like you're sort of interested. And we see this a lot at networking events, where you're going and you're like, yeah, what about those Cubs, What about, you talk about stuff that's in the news and in the weather, but you really don't get into it. You really don't get into it, like that mini conversation you just had, like, what do you really like to do when you're not working? What are you about? What if you just took that time and you looked into the person's eyes and you just understood what they were about? Now, you saw some of the power in that when you were communicating with one another, but what if you could do that in LinkedIn? Would that be cool? Look into their eyes, right? Get that feeling, right? So that level. So there's something that we practice is called social and emotional intelligence. And again, if you stop by our table out there, we'll make sure everybody gets a copy of what this is about. But this is about the way you communicate with people. And what we find is that once people learn about social and emotional intelligence, which is not being reactive, it's about communicating clearly. It's about being present with the person, not distracted. Right? Because if you do, you have much better relationships. You get a much better return on the time of investment with that person. You generate more referrals and you make more money. So what we find, though, is that people get this down in the room and then they forget it all when they get online. We want to show you exactly how to get in there. So we're going to get into this. So now when we look at this, I want you to understand that each and every one of you are a social network. So how many people is everybody in LinkedIn that's in this room? Good. What about Facebook? Most of us, right? Twitter? What about Pinterest? Good, okay. Always curious to see how those are picking up and taking off. So now when you think about it, Internet Profits is a social network. Your church is a social network. Your health club, right? Do you belong to charities? I want you to quickly now make a list of just 5 social networks that you have that you're the closest to. 5 social networks that you have that you're the closest to. Think of that. Is it an association? What type of organization? Is it a chamber? Chambers are awesome if you work them properly. I have some people that love to work 2, 3 chambers. What are the closest ones? The ones that you're closest to and most involved. What I want you to understand is that everybody belongs to the chambers, but a lot of times they don't realize that there's social networks, that their charity and some of the other social networks that they're really connected to exist online. So what I want you to do is when you go back, I want you to search for these in Facebook and LinkedIn, because there's over 5 million groups in LinkedIn. There's a good chance they already exist in there. So you could network without actually getting in your car and going to the event. You could actually network with the people that are like-minded, that care about the same cause of that charity with you, and interact with those people. That's powerful stuff. Okay, the other thing is when we meet people. So if we're networking here and I'm connecting with you, right? Where's Sue? Is Sue in the room? Come on, there's always a Sue. Not today. There wasn't in the last one. Where did all the Sues go? All right, so let's just say I meet Sue at this event. She's out getting a cookie. So I meet Sue at this event, and we connect, right? We have a really good connection. And I have I have the business card, right? Everybody's collecting business cards. And we say, you know what, let's grab a cup of coffee next week. Let's do a cup of coffee in a couple weeks. That makes total sense. We built rapport. We built some trust. Right? So now if I'm really good, I go back and I make sure she's in my iPhone. I put her in my contact management system. And I really take it, to the next level. And I really go to schedule that appointment. Well, that's very one-to-one. Right? That's if I do all the right things. I have a one-to-one relationship. How many meetings does it take me with Sue before she develops enough trust in me to give me a referral? How many times? 7. 5 to 7 times. Face to face. That's a lot of Starbucks. That's why we're broke. So 5 to 7 times $6 a cup. Okay. So it's a lot of cups of coffee, right? It's a lot of connections. It's a lot of chamber meetings to get to that level to where they understand us enough to make that referral. Now, here's what's interesting. What we're tracking is when you now connect to the person on LinkedIn or on a social network and you actually are active in that social network, you start building that trust early because there's evidence of your trust if you do it properly. And we start seeing that business come around and around. So those of you that have an average of, how many people have at least 200 people or more on LinkedIn? Can I just see the hands? Okay, so this represents the majority of the room. So with 200 connections, right? You're 2 degrees away from 43,700 referrals, people. That's just you. That's not if everybody in the company is doing it, that's just you. How many people like 43,700 referrals? Besides me? Just you? Not everybody? Oh, you guys want more, you're greedy. Well, if you want more, there's 3.4 million. And there's ways to get those, okay? So we really want you to understand you are powerful, you are connected. Because I'll ask people, well, how many people are in your network? Well, I've got 200 people, I got 150 people, I have 500 people. But you know what? You have a lot more than that. The problem is you're not activating it. So let's think about how to activate that. Let's talk about the 5 steps for authenticity on LinkedIn, because this is going to generate direct business for you out of this event and beyond this event, okay? First step is to look good. You have to build that trust. Now, one of the number one things we see is that people do not show consistency. So when we work with them on the LinkedIn profile and they get all 25 steps down and they get their settings down and they have a really good, genuine, authentic profile, they forget about Facebook and My Life and YouTube and Twitter, and they still have their old identity in other places. So you notice I see worth $4 million. How many people want a profile that's worth $4 million besides me, right? That's a big number. Well, we had a client come to us, this was about a year ago, and they said, all right, we're ready. I go, what happened? They said, we just lost a big deal. I said, well, tell me about that. They said, well, we had a proposal, and we were the front runner. We had the best relationship. We built a rapport with the person. We had this great proposal. We have our whole management team on there. And so when they went into the proposal, they started to Google the people in the proposal for both teams. Well, the company that was in the lead started to sink because they did not show consistency, authenticity with their profile, because they found other evidence of other things that they did besides the expertise that they claimed in the profile. Their evidence was on the internet. Make your profiles consistent today, or lock them down so nobody can see them. You can privatize your Facebook accounts and things like that, so you can separate your business from personal. It's very doable today. So make sure you do that. And and so what we want to do is we want you to get a couple things clear in your profile, okay? Before you do this, though, before I tell you the things, I want you to commit to something. You just did a pair share with someone. Maybe you know them, maybe you don't. But what I'd like you to do is what we have people do in our classes, is we have them do what we call a peer review. This is where you take 2 people that are going to be honest. Can I have everybody raise their hand that agrees to be honest in this exercise, please? Hold on, I want to keep them up. Make sure. Is anybody around you not raising their hand? We've got to call them out. Okay, good. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. You guys are going to set an appointment with the other person for a peer review. And what that means that you're going to honestly look at each other's profiles and you're going to help them understand if it's clear, if it's genuine, if it's authentic. And I'm going to tell you what that means here in a few minutes. But first, you're going to set the commitment of the appointment with the other person. Do that right now. I'll give you 60 seconds to set the appointment. "30 seconds. Try to set it in the next couple of days, next 3-4 days, next 4 days, 5 days max. Set an appointment. Okay, let's bring it back, please. See, we're going to teach you how to set appointments in 60 seconds. That's what we're going to do. All right, so make sure that you have that commitment with one another. You can finish the exact date and time at the end of this. I want to make sure I get to the good content here. Okay, but that's a peer review. So what are you going to look for in a peer review, right? We want you in your profile. So we're talking about LinkedIn. In your profile, we want you to build the story of who you are and what you will do for people, okay? So when we think about this, we want to make sure you build the story. Now, LinkedIn does a little bit of this for you in that they have a completeness bar. Did you ever see the completeness bar and say, how am I going to get to 100%? Where's my 100 percenters? Raise your hand. Good job, good job. Give them a round of applause. They're at 100%. Now, now, LinkedIn played a trick on you, though. They changed it. So what it used to be is a current position, 2 past positions, education, profile summary, a profile photo, specialties, and at least 3 recommendations. Now what they want for 100% is your industry and location, an up-to-date current position with a description. Did I say with a description? So I looked at a lot of your profiles that registered. Some of you don't have descriptions in your previous positions. 2 past positions, I say with description. Your education, your skills, a minimum of 3. We all have 3 skills. Come on, they give you up to 50 skills. Especially you from the 80s. Come on, how many skills do we have, right? At least we can dance. And then we have a public profile and at least 50 connections. Now, what is LinkedIn's motivation? So what's in it for them, right? So you see how they changed the game here? They want to make sure that you're complete because they're like the Google for business, right? So what their job is when people are searching for you and your business, if you don't have a complete profile, you don't rank as high as the other people that do. So they want to make sure that you're active, that you're committed, that you put all your descriptions in, that you're complete, you look complete, because you make LinkedIn look good when they return that to the top of the list. They have an agenda too, just like Google wants to, it's always the game with the SEO and the SEM people in Google to try to see how can we sneak to the top, because they want that genuine best return on the search. Well, people are searching in billions of searches on LinkedIn for you. But they won't find you if you're not complete, and you won't look good. And I'll tell you another thing, too. I'm going to think twice. So let's say we meet here, and I really have a genuine interest in referring your business because it really makes sense. I'm going to go look at your LinkedIn profile because my name is attached to that referral, and I only refer people that look good online and look professional, and they're complete because that's the representation. Now, you think about how much money and time did we spend on our websites, but yet we have these profiles that are fractured. So commit to finishing your profile. It matters. It's worth $4 million to a lot of us, okay? So I want to make sure you get that. Okay, so we also want you to think about the summary section. I also noticed that only about 50% of you had a summary section, and I was just doing a quick scan of the sample that I took. But the summary section is right below the main section. So this is your act of social networking, your act of being in the room with somebody without being at the event. The summary is the most social place on LinkedIn where you actually have a discussion without talking to somebody. This is your welcome, your introduction to your social network, to who you are online. So create your personal tagline, appear to be focused. I've been networking with people and sort of doing, so what do you do? And I get like the ultimate pitch in the tagline, and then I'll run over and check the LinkedIn, and I just see this dry resume-looking description. I know that's nobody here, but it's like I just see this sort of dry, blah thing. We want to know your personality. We want to know who you are. We want you to be social, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you an opportunity to practice this with your peer partner because you're going to grade each other on it. So I'm going to give you 60 seconds each to give your elevator pitch and what you do, and I'll tell you at 60 seconds to switch to the other person, so you get a whole 60-second elevator pitch to tell that person about your business. And let's see, I'll decide the people with the longest hair are going to go first. So I don't have any hair, so I can pick the longest hair. So I'm going to give you each 60 seconds, and please keep this timely, and I'll tell you when to switch and you go to the other person. I want you to accurately put your elevator pitch to work and be clear and concise with what you do, okay? Long hairs go first. Ready, go. Keep talking. Even if you think you're done, there's more about you. Keep talking. Explain your experience. Why are you so credible? What's great about you and what you deliver to people? How will you help them? Okay, switch to the other person. Okay, bring it back. Time. Okay, so how many people had just really received a good elevator pitch? Can I see a show of hands? Oh, you're just kissing up to the person next to you. I catch you guys on this all the time. Well, what I want you to do, though, is I want you to be genuine and authentic, and I want you to commit to the person that when you look at the profile, I want you to hear the same conversation, okay? So in that summary area, really pay attention to that and make sure your summary is talking as if you are, right? Make it conversational, make it open-ended, and all those great things we know how to do. Everybody committed to doing that? We'll do that one more time. Is everybody committed to doing that? Yes. I love that. Okay, great. Okay, the second step is what do you want, right? So it's okay to ask for things. It's okay to put in your LinkedIn profile, I'm looking for this type of client. This is the ideal type of industry we love to serve, or industries. It's so funny because people are afraid to commit to some of this, but we just find that you get an increase of referrals and inbound leads when you actually get to this level of authenticity and putting it out there. So if you're in a good position where you can claim specifically what you want, you will know that I will guarantee that you will generate more business from that because you're committed to that piece of your business. So I want you to think about that. So what do you need? Do you need employment, career move? Do you want to move up or out to a new, more radiant self and a new career? Sales appointments? What is it that you want? Or do you want more partnerships, joint ventures? What is it for you? Well, the cool thing is with LinkedIn and all the growing numbers is we're just tracking all this data. And again, we'll give you access to all this data. But I don't care if you want to do business in the United States, or you want to do business with a certain industry segment, or you want to do business with a certain job function within there. How many people want to get to C-level officers in a company? Right? We're entrepreneurs, a lot of us do. Some people can operate at the director level, the VP level. Some people are looking for consumers. Well, the cool thing is we're watching the completeness of the profile go up. We're watching the accuracy of the search. That means that as we're looking for people in our network, we can search for the people that we want to get, just like the people are searching for us. So as we look at these job functions and everything that's on there, there is a screen under settings. So write down settings, which is in the area in the upper rightmost part of your profile where your name is. If you click on your name, there is a section called settings. And if you look, I don't know if I have a laser pointer, but I probably don't. So under settings, let's see if I can do this. That's right. So under settings, there is a section called email preferences. Under email preferences, it says type of messages you're willing to receive. Now, a lot of people don't check these boxes off, but what do you want? Do you want career opportunities? Do you want joint ventures? Do you want partnerships? Do you want contracts? Look at yours. What do you want? You want to make sure you put that in there, not just in your profile, but in the settings, because when people are searching to do joint ventures, bless you, to do joint ventures, to do partnerships, you need to come up in that search. Now, the second part to this, which everybody leaves blank, because LinkedIn doesn't tell you to fill it out, but we do, is right underneath there, if you can see underneath the boxes, there's a section is, what would you tell people that want to meet you? You just did that. So put that elevator pitch in there because it comes up on the searches. It's very relevant. Fill that in and put your phone number in there so that you open yourself with the availability of being contacted so people can actually get connected to you. Does that make sense? It's under settings. So if you click on your name in the upper right-hand corner, you go to settings, right? And then you go to email preferences, and it's the very first selection. Okay, that's one simple change. There's 32 other settings, so don't get sucked in. There's some that are good and some that are bad. If you take that free class, you'll get most of that. Okay, so how much time do we have to spend online to be successful? Right? So how much time does it take? Well, we have a principle of 20 minutes a day. Now, here's what's funny about this, because when we tell people about this, they go, well, I'm logged in 2 hours a day. And I'm like, well, how much business are you generating from that? Right? Because they don't have the intention to be focused and to stay, sort of in the zone, as we say. So we're going to give you some best practices of how to stay in the zone with that, and I guarantee you it works. So what happens is, with this 20 minutes a day, so this is funny, so as we watch people and we would study people and we have them in class and we would test this in a workshop where everybody's logged in, and it's funny as you watch the characteristics of people because we have them go in there and we'll show them how to get a couple appointments, they'll log in, and then all of a sudden they get to the point where they're clicking and they're doing really good, and then all of a sudden the ad pops up. Or they see a friend in the list and they start going down, as my coach Kathy would say, down the rabbit hole. Right? Next thing you know, they're buying something on eBay and it's 2 hours later. That's never happened to you, right? So it's like all of a sudden it's the flashy things, the shiny objects we call it, right, for us A-type personalities. So you're clicking on things and next thing you know, the credit card's out and you're buying something. Well, we want you to go the other direction. We want them to take their credit card out. So in doing this, what we do is we have sort of a system. We call it Social Jack. We're fond of that. So Social Jack is where you jack up your social network ability, right? Your results in social networking. The first thing you have to do is commit to that 20 minutes a day. So the first thing you do is you just schedule the time in your calendar to do the 20 minutes a day. That's a basic principle, right? So, and I'm going to show you a couple things you can do in that 20 minutes. So you're going to schedule that time in there. The second thing you're going to do is you're going to claim what you're going to get out of that 20 minutes. Am I going to get 2 appointments, 2 referrals, a partnership, a job interview? Actually put in that time block what you're going to get out of it. Put it in your calendar. Then next, put in the activity that you're going to do that. Now I'm going to show you a couple of easy activities to generate appointments. Okay? But if you don't put it in your calendar, it's not real because it'll be, oh, it's that time to do the Social Jack thingy that Dean was talking about. What was I supposed to do? See, you'll forget. But if you just put some simple things in there, I guarantee you're going to execute those appointments. So we have different things that we do. So one of the first things is that when you're at this event and you're just connecting that one-on-one, we want you to take it to the next level, and we want you to ask the person that you're networking with or talking to, are you on LinkedIn? Is it okay if we connect? Simple, right? You're going to have the cup of coffee. Why not connect to the whole doggone network? The whole 1,000 people behind that person that you don't see, so you can, as you're building that trust and having those cups of coffee, you've now made that connection. Yet what happens, what's interesting is I would wager to guess that I go into your offices and there's a stack of business cards right by the monitor. Nobody else has that, right? The stack of business cards by the monitor. I mean, it's crazy. It's like a disease. It's like we feel like, we belong to something because we have these stacks of business cards. Oh, this was the Thursday show and the Friday show, right? And then we're going to have good intentions to book appointments. But what we want you to do is a very significant thing. So when you actually connect with the person, right? We want you to do something, so you can search for people. It's easy to find people. Most everybody knows how to do that. You go to the upper box, you type a name in, you click on advanced, you can look up companies and names and really get to know who that person is. What we want you to do, though, is we really want you to go to that next level with that person. So let me just get back to this other screen on the sort of the ask, right? So on the ask, so when you actually connect to that person, we want you to ask for the appointment when you add the person. So the next time you add the next 5 people from this conference, right, and you're going to connect to those people, we want you to ask for the appointment in the invitation. It's the number one way to generate appointments. You've built trust and rapport. You said you were going to have a cup of coffee. When you connect to the person, ask for the appointment. Now, before you do that, one more 60-second step. I just want you to look at their profile for 60 seconds. Find something of interest, of connecting, maybe where they worked, something, maybe it's a common hobby that you might have, and mention that in the invite. Show them the authenticity and the genuineness that you really took some time, not just to listen to them here, but you took a little extra time to know who they are. Maybe something about their company. Compliment them on something. Right? A new level of authenticity online, as if you were right in front of them. I'm telling you, you'll get 10 times the referrals from it, and the appointments will be magical. Another step, when you're on your way to the appointment, stop in LinkedIn, and at the sort of body text of LinkedIn, in the main box at the upper top, there's a place at the bottom where you can click print or PDF. You get a whole profile of the person. Put it in your little portfolio or save it on your iPad or whatever you use, and take time, 60 seconds, again, to read the profile of the person before the appointment. It'll be a whole new level of meeting for each and every one of you. Now, you want one more cool thing? What if you could automatically walk into that appointment and get 2 referrals? Now, that would be cool. So what you can do is you can actually look at the level of activity in most people, unless they suppress their profiles. But in the right-hand side of anybody's profile, you can look at their activity and who they're connecting with and who they're going back and forth. And a lot of people have their connections open. So if you actually do a search, and you look at the bottom of the screen, it's a little tough to see, but anybody that is in your network or a couple degrees out from your network, you actually see all the common connections that you have, and you also see the connections of them. Well, what if you could just take 2 names and write them on that PDF sheet, go to the appointment, and say, and when you get to that part about the referrals and you're getting, and everybody asks for referrals at those appointments, you could actually name names. Like, this is the ideal person. This is the ideal person that I'm looking for, because they're going to be genuine and ask you, well, how can I help you? What kind of referrals are you looking for? Well, Betsy Smith, actually. She's in your network. Can you help me connect? And you can pick out some names out of there. So try that when you do the advanced search and take that to your next meeting. It's powerful. The second thing, if you're doing an advanced search and you find it extremely useful, you can actually have LinkedIn start emailing you search criteria of people that are entering your network. On the advanced screen, you can click Saved Searches, save the search. You name it. So this is banking CEOs within 50 miles. We're doing a lot of work with banks. You can say every week, send me a list of all the banking contacts, right, that come in. And then all of a sudden, LinkedIn will crawl through the network and tell me everything, everybody that's been added in my network in that criteria. Truly amazing. It comes right into your inbox. You click on it, and you can start networking right as those people enter. So remember the degrees of separation? You actually start emailing you leads in your area. Very cool stuff. All right, so take this website down, inmaps.linkedinlabs.com, inmaps.linkedinlabs.com. This is where it takes your entire LinkedIn network and does a network map. So you can actually look and identify all your hubs. Very cool. It is a beta app, but it does work, and we've been using it and testing it, and it'll actually visually map out your entire network. So if you're strategically trying to take it to the next step, you can. All right, step 5, interaction. This is where the rubber meets the road. Okay, so with all these connections and all these people, I'm going to give you 2 hot points of interaction. Just like you're here, we're going to teach you how to do this when you're when you're on LinkedIn. Okay, how can you be in relationship and genuine rapport with your network? You have topics and conversations that you're really resonating with, and things, maybe topics that you're an expert in that you can really contribute with your knowledge. Well, in LinkedIn, if you look at the home page, you see the red box at the bottom there. On your home page, when you first logged in, there's all the shares. This is what your network is sharing. Now, have you ever done like a post, like a really, really, really good post online, and nobody likes it? And you feel like they're hanging you out. You're like, my whole network just hung me out to dry. Well, that's because we have a core human need to be seen. We're wired to be seen and to be heard and to have that connection. So imagine the people on the other end, what they feel like when you do show up. You do genuinely like something. Not just like it because it's the thing to do, but like it because you really do like it. And what if you could make a few comments on that, right? Start the dialogue. Get the chatter up again and take that to an appointment. You could be present in their network, because when you're commenting or liking with anybody, it's not just in your network, it's in their network too, where those referrals exist. And now they see the relationship. And now you start seeing the trust. Hey, are you coming to the Internet Profits this weekend? You can start having dialogue, and next thing you know, you have 4, 5, 6, 7 people showing up to that event or that cool thing. And your social network gets bigger, the trust gets built faster. It happens. We have people doing it every day. And you guys can do it too. Real simple. Now, the cool thing about this, it's not like you have to scan through thousands of shares. You can actually click on the blue search button in that red box that I have up there. And you can actually type in a phrase like professional training and coaching. I love talking about that. Or anything that you want. You could type in banking, you could type in skiing, whatever you want. And it will show you at all 3 levels, all 3 million people of your network, it'll show you the conversations going on. So it would be as if, actually, anybody that likes to golf, raise your hand. Look around to the other golfers in the room. Right? Anybody that plays a musical instrument or loves music, raise your hand. Look around, you have things in common. What if you could do that online, right? Now you could search and find the people in your network that really have those common points, just like we did here in the room. As you look around, you're like, oh, I didn't even know he golfed. So you're like, you have that awareness, that connectivity, that genuine connection with one another. Very cool stuff. So now you can scan through your whole network, and I can look at people that Justin knows, right? That I know that he's into, I know he's into skiing, and I'm, into skiing too. So all of a sudden I see Justin's into skiing, and I start scanning, some posts and things like that. Now I see people that Justin's connected to are into skiing, and it looks like a good referral. We have common ground. We have cool stuff we can talk about. I have a group that just does, like, they're all into rugby. I was never into rugby, football and wrestling, but not rugby. But the whole rugby thing is like a whole community in itself, right? And they get referrals in business, and they go on LinkedIn and look for other rugby people, and it's really a cool thing. I mean, global business. It's really a cool thing. So you all have the potential to do that. Now on the group side, right, so the shares are sort of all the people that are connected to you based on the people that you have in your core network. On groups, you can step to that outer layer. So you can find a common interest, belong a group. That's why I want you to find the things that you really like and find passionate about your causes. The things that you have about that you just have interest in. There's groups for skiing, there's groups for golf, right? And then you can see the other people in your network that are active and participating in that, just as if you went to an event. And you can be present there. You can like and comment and have discussions there. Now, one of the magic things, and it's tough to resist, we love to hide in the discussions on the internet. Did you ever get caught up when you're in one of those group discussions, and next thing you know, you're 5, 6 layers deep, and it's like coming into your inbox, and you're like, okay, I'll keep it going, and I'll type something else. And so you're caught up in this discussion. No, we say 2 exchanges. 2 exchanges and take it offline. If it's that good, it's that deep, it's a good connection, set the appointment, get them on the phone. You have something in common. There's some interest. There's dialogue. There's a conversation. If there's somewhere else you can't have the cup of coffee, at least get them on the phone. You've built some rapport and connection. Very cool stuff, okay? And the secret sauce is to take them offline. I'm telling you, in your 20 minutes, just set that you're going to have some group time. 20 minutes in a group is a long time to just be focused and logged in to a group where you have everything in common with everybody in that group. I challenge you not to find an appointment or a conversation that would be useful to help you benefit your business and maybe their business too. Very strong stuff. Okay, now I have a practice that we teach everybody. It's called Too Old, Too New. It's part of the 20 minutes a day. Now this guarantees doubling referrals, so pay attention to this. So of your core network, your 200 people, plus the 10 people you're going to meet today or better, there'll be new people. So now you have a network of people that maybe people you went to high school with, college with. You have some level of trust, some level of connection, and everybody knows everybody. I challenge you to connect with the 2 oldest people in your database and just have an exchange to catch up of what you're both doing. Just try it one day. Just go and find the 2 oldest, not old age, the 2 people you haven't spoken to in the longest period of time in your database. And we did this way before LinkedIn. I have CEOs doing this every day. Find the 2 oldest connections you haven't spoken to in the longest period of time and just catch up. Resurface it to the top and just catch up on a call. You can use LinkedIn to do this. You can use anything to do this. We call it 2 old. And the 2 new are the people, because you're going to meet at least 10 to 15. Kathy said she had 20 cards here. 20 people. It's a lot of cups of coffee, a lot of people to catch up with. It's going to slip. It's going to become a stack on your desk. Hopefully it gets into your system. Hopefully you connect on LinkedIn. However, you're going to miss some. Spend part of that time just catching up with 2. Pick 2. 2 people that you just missed, that you promised the cup of coffee, the next conversation. Try it. 2 old, 2 new. It's the simplest thing we've ever come up with and taught. It's been running out there for maybe 20 years. And the people that do it every day double their referrals and appointments and create an amazing amount of business back to them. We get stories all the time.
The way of connection by date back to the old?
Yeah, so the 2 people in your database you haven't spoken to or connected with in the longest period of time. So let's say you have 200 people. When was the last time you spoke to those people? So it's just the longest period of time you haven't spoken to those people.
You can't do a date search.
You could, no, but you could do it in your database. But I mean, it depends on how you contact. So there's all kinds of different systems you can do to do that. But good question. We can talk afterwards a little bit about that. So your authenticity assignment, right? Fix your profiles. We want to give you referrals. We love referring people, right? Do your peer review that you committed to. Finish that scheduling if you didn't do it. Build your network up daily, even if it's 1 a day, just to catch up or stay caught up, and set that appointment, right? Be social and have meaningful conversations and real, genuine likes. Do less of them, but just do them, on a regular basis in your network, and look at those conversations and be present, okay? So for those of you that do want to take maybe a free, deeper class where we're going to go deeper into this just because we're running out of time, our table is right outside. We have these slides. We have an ebook. We also have a CD that I recorded that's titled The 9 Things You Need to Do Before You Log In. So what if you could set yourself up for success so that you could just have a good blueprint? Now, this is a shortened version of the rapid launch plan and the things that we do to sort of put your whole business online. But I guarantee you'll get stuff out of this. So just come by the booth and they'll tell you how to get those. And then we have a breakout session on Sunday And Sunday, I believe it's at 3 o'clock. And actually, everybody's getting the CD, and I think they're also, a lot of our classes online are $99. If you come Sunday, I think we're giving everybody that comes to that Sunday session $99 coupon for our next class. So you get another free educational class on top of the one that you're all going to get after this. So all you have to do is drop your card in. You'll get the first free class. If you come Sunday, you'll get another class. Is that cool? You guys okay with another class on this stuff?
Yeah, man.
Good. All right. So I really, sincerely, genuinely wish you all to do what I spoke about today. I want you to follow through. Just try Too Old, Too New once. And then try to do it the second day. I want you to schedule in your calendar. I want you to schedule in your calendars to do 20 minutes a day and commit to what you're going to get out of that 20 minutes a day. 2 appointments, 4 appointments. My top producers making hundreds, one of them's making $700,000 a year in sales, doing Too Old, Too New, doing his 20 minutes a day, and he only books 4 appointments a day because they're authentic, genuine appointments. And the referrals just come and sprout off of those appointments. Try it. I'd really like to hear from everybody. My contact information, my email's there. We love to blog about success stories. So you can take everything that we learned today and actually put it to use and generate more business. Are you ready to do that?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
How good is that, huh?